Here is how they line up for the first race of the 4th season of Formula 5. Josh Bautista in the Red Bull Canada 5 is on the pole, and Cliff Raymond on the outside, the defending series champion in the number 1 Raymond Penske Ford Cosworth. Row number 2 is Chris Wetz in the Lotus, who topped the timesheets, and Rents Brown, the defending winner of this race, has always seemed to go very well at this track. The third row is Eric Wright in the Altamont Sauber, and Justin Lewis struggled with the Shibunga Honda in practice. Lewis was fairly slow, but he hopes to do better in the race. Row 4 is the highest qualified bot, Friedrich Sturm, in the second Shibunga car, and Tyler Putnam is driving number 320 today, but after this race, he'll race with his usual number 4 in the Team Mantup car. Row 5, William Power, driving for the Team Branch car, and Kovalainen, teammate to second row starter Chris Wetz. Of course, we'll see how well these two go because they weren't quick in practice. Row 6 is Goosh Goosh, teammate to Clifford Raymond, the defending champion, and Nicolette Duclair, teammate to Ian Cooper, who was second in the championship. Neither of these cars looked particularly competitive in practice, but they had some decent qualifying efforts. Row 7 is Nasa Tsunamachi, teammate to Eric Wright, and Jean-Pierre Delatraz is driving without his human teammate, as Peter Short is not here this week. However, we will see Peter, hopefully, in the future races in Formula 5. Row number 8 is Gasper de Souza, struggled a lot with his Red Bull Canada car, and of course, Charlie Bot, the most experienced of the bots in the field. Of course, he was also one of the slower ones, so not so a good weekend so far for Charlie. In fact, he was the slowest bot in the field, and we'll see how his weekend goes. Row 9, Joe Branch had a difficult qualifying time, and Chris Jackson has struggled to get the only Cromwell in the field up to speed. Neither of these two were looking terribly good in qualifying. However, Branch was posting some very respectable times in practice in the Branch Racing Incorporated car. For someone who says he doesn't care much about open wheel racing, he's certainly making a good mark so far. And all by himself in the last row is Ian Cooper, oldest driver in the field at 21. And he will start the Clockwork Team Lexus number 2 from the final row of the grid. Of course, Dan McKay was also scheduled to start this race on the outside of row 10. However, McKay has opted not to take the start for reasons we do not yet know. So Ian Cooper rounds out this field of 19. And now it looks like the field's getting underway. You can see them coming from behind those houses. As here they come, all 19 cars as camera backs away behind the bridge. Josh Bautista, the Red Bull Canada number 5, that blue car right there. Clifford Raymond on his outside. See the rest of the grid lining up. There's Wetz in the green Lotus. And we're about ready to get started here at the Lexus Grand Prix of Long Beach. And you see some of the field lining. Sturm decides to switch lanes on Tyler Putnam there as we get ready to take the start. And the field is looking for a green flag, and they get it. As they go down, turn 1 is a very sharp left-hand turn. Bautista is going to have an advantage coming down there as he chose driver's right. Oh, we got trouble in the back. We got a car spinning in the back. I think it's Eric Wright on board with Clifford Raymond. It looks like he and Bautista got through turn 1 okay. Going around the fountain. And Bautista pulling away. Oh no, Raymond catches up there. But of course, Bautista very good down these longer straightaways. Now here's an onboard with Eric Wright in the Altamont Sauber. Of course, no mirrors on this car. Not quite sure why. Okay, and he's a good qualifying effort. And oh, of course, Eric Wright was contending for the championship in Season 2. Gets a bump from somebody, and he goes all the way to 19th. And there's another car on the wall over there. That's one of the Lotuses. One of the Lodi, rather. On board with Tyler Putnam in the Team Mantup car. There's Eric Wright right in front of him. So is it Mantup that gets into Eric? Yeah, it's just hard. Just kind of first lap stuff. The tight left-hand corner, you don't know what's going to happen. There's Kovalainen cuts across Mantup, and Covey ends up in the wall. So that's the end of that for the second Lotus. At least we know which one of them it is. And it is not Chris Wetz, who qualified very well. Now on the board with it. Whoa, Ian Cooper, very auspicious start there. It looks like the Cromwell didn't quite get up to speed with Chris Jackson at the wheel. Coming into this hard left, he's taking it very easy Very easy. Looks like he knows that there's going to be trouble. And there is Eric off to the side, and Cooper just kind of squeezes in. There's Covey. Being told there's another incident up the road. That's why we're staying on board with the 2 car. There's Joe Branch off to the right. Oh, Branch looks like he hits the wall, takes Charlie and D'Souza into the tires. Looks like Charlie's kept it rolling, but there's smoke pouring out of the D'Souza car. He's out already. Bad weekend gone worse for car 55. Josh Batista is still holding on to the lead. And looks like Branch got by Cooper. And, cutting a little close to that wall there. The Lexus not handling too well.